a car driving through a quiet provincial road. Inside, Gil-soo, a young boy, is glued to his phone, engrossed in a mobile game. His father, from the driver's seat, tells him to stop playing, but Gil-soo ignores him. His mother intervenes, urging him not to disrespect his father, but Gil-soo remains silent, lost in his game. As he plays, memories from his previous school resurface, haunting images of relentless bullying. He recalls a group of boys tormenting him, their cruel words and violent actions leaving scars that run deep. The humiliation and helplessness he felt still linger, darkening his mood. Gil-soo recalls his mother begging him not to quit school, but to transfer and start fresh. Despite her plea, despair grips him, and he wonders if ending it all would be better. On his first day at his new school, he walks in with low expectations, believing nothing will change. Nervously introducing himself to the class, he avoids eye contact, bracing for rejection. To his shock, the room erupts in applause. The warm and welcoming reaction leaves him stunned, far from the ridicule he expected. Gil-soo sits nervously at his desk when a classmate approaches him and calls his name. Startled, he remembers the bullying he endured at his previous school. A gentle tap on his back pulls him from his thoughts, and his classmate, Do-il, warmly introduces himself, inviting Gil-soo to join them at the convenience store. Hesitant but unsure how to refuse, Gil-soo agrees and quietly follows. As they walk, he observes the friendly atmosphere, unlike anything he's experienced before. Though he remains silent, he feels a small sense of comfort, daring to hope that things might be different this time. Gil-soo lost in thought when he accidentally bumps into a student, spilling his drink. Panicking, he offers to clean or pay for the stain, but the student smiles kindly and says it's fine before walking away. Shocked by the unexpected kindness, Gil-soo feels a small sense of hope. At the end of the day, as he packs up, Do-il approaches and asks if he's free after school, inviting him somewhere. Gil-soo agrees but remains suspicious of every kindness he receives. As Gil-soo walked with Do-il, he grew uneasy. Realizing they'd been walking for a while, he hesitantly asked where they were going. Do-il replied calmly, I want to show you a place. You need to see it since you're new. Gil-soo's gaze fell on the scars on Do-il's arms, triggering memories of his past trauma. Doubts crept in, was this kindness genuine, or was he being led into another trap? Nervously walked with Do-il, Gil-soo giving an excuse to turn back. As he hesitated, Do-il placed a firm hand on his shoulder, stopping him. We're almost there, Do-il said calmly, though his reassurance only deepened Gil-soo's unease. They arrived at an old building, and with each step closer, Gil-soo's heart raced. When Do-il pushed open the door, loud shouts erupted from inside. Gil-soo froze as he stepped into the chaotic scene, a makeshift arena filled with cheering students, to fighters brutally exchanging blows in the center. The crowd roared, and Gil-soo's fear turned to shock as he struggled to process the violent spectacle before him. Gil-soo stood frozen as Do-il casually explained the school's fighting arena, meant for settling disputes and earning respect. Before Gil-soo could process, they were called over by the school president. Jang Chung, the towering school president, appeared beside him, introducing himself with an imposing yet welcoming demeanor. Do-il was soon called into the ring by Caterpillar Eyebrows, and he accepted without hesitation. As the fight began, Gil-soo's shock deepened. Just earlier, these two were friends, and now they were fiercely battling while the crowd roared in excitement. The brutal atmosphere of the school left him utterly overwhelmed. Jang Chung reveals the brutal truth about Six Gates High School to a stunned Gil-soo. Turning to him, Jang Chung declares, "This is the true face of the school." He explains that Six Gates High has no bullies, but instead channels violence into the arena, encouraging students to release their frustrations through fights. Jang Chung then outlines the rules of the school. Rule 1. Only Six Gates High students are allowed entry. Access ends upon graduation, dropping out, or expulsion. Rule 2. All fights must be one-on-one, without weapons, and no third-party interference. Rule 3. the Student Guidance Council acts as referees with full authority to decide the outcome of matches. As Jang Chung explained the rules, a student interrupted, demanding Gil-soo fight him in the ring over a stained uniform. Jang Chung encouraged Gil-soo to step in, telling him to have fun and not be scared, while emphasizing the most important rule: no violence outside the arena. Inside the ring, Gil-soo's fear grew as memories of years of bullying resurfaced. He processed Jang Chung's words, but struggled to see any fun in this situation. Facing his confident opponent, Gil-soo's instincts urged him to run, leaving him paralyzed by fear. In the Six Gates High Arena, the crowd buzzed about Gil-soo's misfortune facing Kang In-hae, the younger brother of a notorious fighter. Frozen in fear as In-hae charged, Gil-soo's panic overwhelmed him, causing him to vomit on In-hae's face. The arena fell silent in shock before erupting in laughter and gasps. In-hae, stunned and furious, demanded a towel while Gil-soo slumped on the canvas, paralyzed by fear and humiliation. The bizarre incident left the crowd buzzing with disbelief and ridicule. Gil-soo sat in the bathroom, replaying the humiliating arena event and questioning the need for fighting. Jang-soo's words to enjoy the fights haunted him. Later, in the classroom, Jang-soo amazed students by doing push-ups with two classmates on his back. "What do you want?" Jang-soo asked bluntly. Before Gil-soo could respond, the class erupted into laughter, teasing him about whether he had any techniques aside from vomiting. Gil-soo nervously asked if he could opt out of the fighting arena. The room fell silent. Jang-soo, visibly disappointed, Gil-soo tried to explain, admitting he was weak and unable to fight. Jang-soo grabbed Gil-soo's face, taunting him by saying he could now beat him anytime. Before leaving, Jang-soo declared that Gil-soo, as a first year, would no longer be protected from the fighting arena, leaving Gil-soo in shock and fear. Gil-soo sat in his classroom, replaying Jang-soo's warning about losing the arena's protection. His thoughts were interrupted when Kang In-hae and his gang entered. Without hesitation, In-hae slammed Gil-soo's face onto the desk, mocking him as the school's new sandbag. As Gil-soo looked around for help, his classmates avoided eye contact, leaving him defenseless. In-hae struck him again, sending him to the floor, and continued beating him. The realization hit Gil-soo: without the arena, he was the only student left vulnerable to violence. Lying bruised and humiliated, he understood his nightmare. Gil-soo, overwhelmed by failure, meets his teacher to discuss dropping out of school, imagining his parents' despair. Leaving the building, he's confronted by Jang-choo, who bluntly asks why he isn't fighting. Gil-soo explains his trauma, years of bullying, and his desire to give up. Jang-soo interrupts, gripping his shoulders and calling him pathetic. He tells Gil-soo he doesn't need to fight like a pro and use whatever he has. If you do not have a teeth, bite with your gums. If you don't have strength, use your gut. Disappointed, Jang-soo warns that the world outside is harsher and Gil-soo will remain a loser. He refuses to fight back. Gil-soo is left stunned, unable to respond. As Gil-soo walks home, lost in Jang-choo's words about resilience, he is stopped by Kang In-hae and his gang, mocking his decision to drop out, asking Gil-soo who will be their sandbag. Annoyed of Jang-choo's rules, they point out that the bullying will not stop even if he leaves school. They demand he follow them. In a dark alley, they beat him mercilessly, with In-hae confirming his home address and threatening to visit him often. Panicked, Gil-soo pleads for an explanation, but In-hae silences him with a mocking grin, recording his beaten face to further humiliate him. Surrounded by their laughter, Gil-soo is left in despair, realizing the depths of their cruelty. Gil-soo clings to a fragile hope for escape, but people like Kang In-hae and his gang drag him deeper into darkness, crushing his dreams. Desperation consumes him as he asks himself, how can he ever break free? As Jang-choo's words, "protect yourself," echo in his mind, he reaches his breaking point. Letting out a furious scream, he knocks Kang In-hae's phone away. Remembering the advice, if you don't have teeth, bite with your gums, Gil-soo bites Kang In-hae's hand with all his strength, finally fighting back against his oppressors. As Kang In-hae's fist lands squarely on Gil-soo's face, the boy stumbles but defiantly smirks, taunting, "How's the bite? If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me." This enrages Kang In-hae, who mockingly sneers. Even a rat fights back when it's cornered. Enraged, Kang In-hae's gang charges at Gil-soo. But Gil-soo, recalling Jang-choo's words to use anything at his disposal, grabs a handful of sand and flings it at his pursuers. Kang In-hae pieces together how Gil-soo had grabbed it when he was knocked to the ground earlier. With no time to lose, Gil-soo sprints away, his heart pounding as he strategizes how to avoid a 4-on-1 fight, running as fast as his legs can carry him. Bursts of adrenaline push Gil-soo forward as he bursts into the arena. Jang-choo, observing the commotion, notices the frantic yet determined Gil-soo. To everyone's surprise, Gil-soo yells, his voice echoing through the space, "I'll join the fighting arena." Kang In-hae and his gang chased Gil-soo to the underground fighting arena, where Jang-choo watched with intrigue, finding Gil-soo more interesting than expected. Park Yang-ho, irritated, complained he should be in the ring, disregarding the arena's rules, but his friend warned him to stay quiet due to Jang-choo's imposing presence. Inside the ring, Kang mercilessly beat Gil-soo, delivering relentless punches and a crushing blow that sent him to the ground. Despite the pain, Gil-soo refused to stay down. Kang mocked him, amused at the thought of Gil-soo believing he could compete in a 1-on-1 fight. With a brutal kick to Gil-soo's face, Kang grabbed his collar, urging him to accept his place as a victim. But Gil-soo's fearless, fiery glare stunned Kang, leaving the crowd in awe of his unyielding spirit. Kang In-hae, filled with irritation, slapped Gil-soo across the face, calling him a loser and ordering him to stay down. He then delivered a brutal kick to Gil-soo's head, knocking him backward. The crowd and Kang In-hae briefly believed Gil-soo might be dead. However, to their astonishment, Gil-soo began to rise, his determination defying his battered body. Approaching Gil-soo, Kang In-hae warned him to stay down, claiming he might actually kill him if this continued. Gil-soo, blooded but unwavering, responded firmly that it wasn't enough to break him. With raw resolve, he charged forward and tackled Kang In-hae to the ground. As they fell, Gil-soo reflected that this momentary pain was nothing compared to the years of suffering he had endured, his fury fueling his resistance. Kang In-hae, stunned by Gil-soo's surprising move, finds himself mounted as Gil-soo attempts a punch. However, Kang counters effortlessly, mocking Gil-soo for his sluggishness. As Gil-soo struggles, he recalls Jang-choo's words, "If you lack strength, trust your gut." Drawing from sheer willpower, Gil-soo delivers a crushing headbutt, leaving Kang momentarily dazed. Jang-choo, watching from the sidelines, silently acknowledges Gil-soo's unyielding resilience, impressed by his ability to endure. But the moment is short-lived as Kang regains composure and lands a powerful kick, sending Gil-soo sprawling backward. The battle continues with Gil-soo's grit unwavering despite the odds. Kang In-hae rises steadily, his expression dark and composed, as he notices Gil-soo struggling to his feet. Despite the bruises, Gil-soo's eyes blaze with unyielding fury. A realization dawns on Gil-soo as he reflects on years of suffering at the hands of bullies like In-hae. Fueled by his indignation, he questions why he ever feared them. Determined, he charges forward, swinging a wild punch aimed at In-hae. In-hae, now entirely serious, effortlessly counters with a precise uppercut, knocking Gil-soo out cold. Standing tall, In-hae maintains his composure, his movements calculated as he ensures there's no chance of retaliation. The scene closes with In-hae victorious. In the dim-lit fighting arena, Gil-soo awakens, disoriented, realizing he fainted during his fight. Recalling the battle, he regrets his lack of composure, pondering if targeting another tackle might have changed the outcome. He wishes he were just a bit stronger. Suddenly, Jang-choo looms over him, asking if he's okay. Gil-soo, startled, questions why Jang-choo is still there. Jang-choo explains it's his duty as president to oversee the arena, not to encourage violence, but to protect the students. Adding that Gilsoo cannot return tomorrow because he's being dropped out, Gilsoo vehemently refuses. He declares his desire to grow stronger. Excited by Gilsoo's resolve, Jangchu delivers a crushing body shot, dropping him to the floor, promising this is only the beginning of his intense training to build endurance and strength. As Gilsoo braced, resolve burned ready for the unknown battle ahead. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and ring the bell for the next episode. And for more manhwa and manga content, got a favorite? Drop it in the comments. See you next time.